about the merits. That would be uncomfortable. Lou Dobbs. Hey, impeachment trial. Impeachment trial is partisan. Constitutional. Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong. He said we people. They know Democrats just want to put on political theater. I'm sick of it.
Trump's legal team is now distancing itself from people like Mr. Greider, saying, quote, the real truth is that the people who criminally breached the Capitol did so of their own accord and for their own reasons, and they are being criminally prosecuted. What do you say to Trump's team?
Yeah, I think that that's just absurd. I mean, the president abandoned his people. It is frustrating that my client is locked up in a federal detention center in middle America while Donald Trump is down in Florida doing whatever he wants to, trying to pass the buck and pass the blame. I mean, again, my client never went to Washington intending to do any harm. He never intended to end up in the Capitol, but it was the directives from the person that he went there to see. It was those directives that put him into that position. There's no doubt about that. And to blame it on them and them alone, that's no different than any other of my clients trying to pass the blame off to someone else when there's evidence to show that they're just as responsible.
All right.
So most channels are going to focus on the actual impeachment trial itself, speculation on the outcome, commentary on the ridiculous things that the Republicans will say. Some of the more progressive channels will mock the Democrats for being inept, as I'm sure they will, on some things. And it's a bit sad that our country has become so predictable that I can sit here ahead of time and we know what to expect. Trump gets acquitted. Republicans duck and dive and constitutional, unconstitutional, and this is a waste of time and political theater, and this is revenge, and move on and unity. And someone else somewhere else said something that was also inappropriate, and since they did it and got away with it, we should get away with it too because we're children. Quick side note. If a Democrat said something that was just as dangerous as what Trump said in terms of potentially inciting violence, and I have seen some things that are absolutely questionable, they should be held accountable as well. That's not a valid response to this, the fact that someone else did it. If we are trying someone for murder, a defense is not, hey, such and such murdered someone as well and they didn't get in trouble. That is not a response. But I digress. That's what we expect. They're not going to want to talk about what actually happened. They're going to want to deflect, play games. And then if and when they actually get to talking about any of the substance, it's going to amount to, well, Trump didn't tell anyone to do anything violent. In fact, he said be peaceful. The precedent that we are to set today is that you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You can stoke the flames and try to incite whatever you want to incite. As long as you do not explicitly say anything violent. Go kill those people. Go storm the Capitol. Even storm the Capitol actually should be okay. Because what do you mean by storm the Capitol? You can just say, I just meant for them to go down there as a big crowd of people and make a bunch of noise. I didn't say go in. I didn't say kill anybody. Right? That's the precedent that we're going to set today. As long as you don't actually specifically say a thing, then free reign. I can see a woman who got lost wandering in a dangerous neighborhood. And I can go around to everybody and I can say, man, look at that girl. She looks real sexy and it looks like she's by herself. Wow. I would never come in here by myself like that. I hope nobody grabs her and takes her in the bushes and does anything. Like, wow. Everybody, hey, if anybody here is thinking about going and raping that girl, you better not. Everybody, do the right thing. Do the right thing. And I could just keep walking around like, hey, guys, look at that girl over there with the short skirt, man. She's probably real nice in bed, huh? Wow, look at her. She's walking around by herself. That's crazy, right? Why is she walking around by herself like that? Man, I hope nothing happens to her. Anyway, I just wanted to stop by and say that. Let me go. I'll check you later, man. Right? And I just keep going around and saying stuff, and if eventually one of the people I talk to goes after her and rapes her, it's not my fault. I didn't say to rape. In fact, I said not to rape her. I said don't rape her. Right? I never told anyone to do anything to this woman. In fact, I said the exact opposite. Freedom of speech. Right? I'm free to go around and talk to people. I didn't even threaten anyone. I didn't say anything violent. That's the precedent that we're setting. Right? Because the Republicans believe that we are children. That's what it is. No accountability. Anyway, so while others are talking about the actual trial itself, potential outcome, and how ridiculous it's going to be, I'm going to talk about and expose the media and how they will cover it. The Republicans have been very much against the trying to erase history, as they refer to it, regarding the removal of statues and changing the names of bases. That is something that they've been very much concerned about. But like many things that they are very much concerned about, it is, shall we say, faux outrage, right? A lot of it is, it's ironic that they're going to probably say a lot that the Democrats are doing is political theater. And hey, you're preaching to the choir if you're talking to me about the Democrats doing some theater. But I mean, that's a U.S. politics thing. That's not necessarily a Democrats thing. But when it comes to theater, oh my goodness, the characters available on the Republican side. Oh man, amateur hour on the Democrat side. They try to put on a show, but the Republicans, oh my goodness. Oh, we're trying to erase history and the Constitution and values and this and that, and we need to come together. I mean, look at who they just was the leader of their party. It still is the leader of their party. Donald Trump, a reality TV star. I mean, who do Republicans have? Pelosi. What is her theatrical experience? What's on her resume? Schumer? You're telling me Schumer used to do Broadway play? I mean, like, the real characters are in the Republican Party. So they pretend to be concerned about erasing history, but they have been largely or bigly trying to erase history with what happened in the 6th, not reporting on it. So my prediction and my homework to you, we give homework here once in a while, please observe how the impeachment trial is or is not covered. I'm expecting it will mostly not be covered. It's a pretty big deal, so it might be challenging to just completely ignore it. I mean, they've been ignoring all of the stories since the 6th and the 7th. All of the Capitol stories, they've been completely just ignoring them, right? All, the officers that died, like just ignoring it, right? But the impeachment trial is on a scale that it's a little bit more difficult to ignore because, for example, all of the stories that happened since the Capitol attack, they've been reported in liberal media. So if you're watching liberal media, you know that. If you're watching conservative media, they haven't been reporting on it, so you don't know. But the impeachment is so large that it's just on a different scale to where conservative viewers have to know that Trump is being impeached again. I mean, you can't hide that, right? You can hide the Pelosi's laptop story, right? You can put out the Pelosi's laptop story when it's, conspiracy theory, right? When the facts come out about what she tried to do with the laptop, and it's kind of like, let's not talk about that. So I would expect some of them would cover the impeachment trial, but they won't really cover the impeachment trial. I don't expect anyone to live stream any of the hearings, right? I don't expect that. They love to live stream a lot of things, but I don't expect them to live stream the hearings. Maybe one person might, but in general, I don't expect that. I don't expect to see videos posted where strong arguments are made in terms of why Trump should be convicted. I expect that to be suppressed. What I expect mostly to see, if anything, is going to be they're going to bar it. Right? Bill Barr. You know how Bill Barr did with the Mueller report? That's what they're going to do. I expect they're going to look at it, pick up all the talking points from the Republicans, where they're going to frame it as unconstitutional, whatever, and then they're going to give that to their audience. So rather than give the substance of what actually occurred and who said what, they're just going to be like, yeah, so the impeachment trial is today, and the thing is these Democrats and the left, and the Constitution clearly states, and then he's not even president, and they're gonna go on and on and on and on, right? Not really sharing with their audience what happened during the hearing. They're just gonna keep running on and on, Gish Gallop or whatever, right? Yes, unconstitutional, whatever, and then setting a precedent, and then the thing about it, and then they might even have some of these politicians on, right? Because corrupt politicians are good to have on your channel when they're supporting whatever narrative you want to push, right? So they might have, I don't know, Rudy Giuliani or somebody on there. Carter might do that, and then everything is just totally partisan. Just frame it, as it's unconstitutional. But you're not gonna see the substance, right? They're not gonna play the videos that might be played during hearing, where the violence or the Capitol attack, like that. Let's pretend that never happened. They're not gonna play the strongest arguments why Trump should be convicted. But they will boost any of the talking points of the Republicans, right? That is the most that I expect. That's my prediction. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, let's see what's going on. So you notice right away the lack of impeachment coverage in general. Very, very light sauce. Very, very partisan take on Newsmax. Sham impeachment 2.0, foregone conclusion impeachment 2.0. Trump is a lot happier. Marjorie crying. Yeah, so they're going hard on the protect Trump angle. So you're gonna see